Hi, Core 180. Welcome to week one, officially to week one. You should have by now have done all the activities for day one and emailed me letting me know that you have completed them. In week one, we're going to be focusing on two main things. And the first is, what does it mean to be a good reader? What are the strategies that good readers use? And secondly, getting ourselves familiar with online education, especially using courses at Dort. So you'll be uploading documents, you'll be editing documents, you'll be taking a quiz, you'll be posting to the discussion board, and part of that will be reading the things that go along with that so you understand what's required and how to do that. But one of our focuses is becoming a good reader. What do good readers do? And if you've had me before in class, you know I'm really big into the idea of thinking about what it is we're doing when we're doing it. And by accessing those thoughts, we can become better readers and writers. We call those thoughts our metacognitive toolkit. That means to say, in easy words, in our head, we have a bunch of tools that we use when we read and write. We do them without even thinking. We do them without even realizing it. But we do them. And once we can name them, once we have access to them, we can use them strategically. And once we start using them a lot, suddenly then we start using them without even thinking about it. And we become much better readers and writers. So for instance, one thing that we know that lots of good readers do is before they even read anything, they make predictions about it. They make a guess in their head about what they think the story or the article is going to be about, which sounds really basic, but to stop yourself and to make an actual prediction before you read can be a very helpful strategy or tool. Another thing we know that good readers do is they revise meaning. They read part of the way through and they say, hey, I thought this was going to happen and I was right, it did. Or I thought this was going to happen and look, it's not, it's something else. So those are just a couple examples of those cognitive strategies that we use. There is a document you'll be looking at called your cognitive toolkit that will list them all explicitly and then give you a bunch of examples of how they're used. Read through that. Look through the ones and say, yeah, I do that all the time, or no, I've never thought about doing that. Really familiarize yourself with the ideas on that document. That'll help you throughout the semester and throughout your college career and beyond as you become an even better reader than you already are. So once we've kind of gotten that idea of the cognitive toolkit, that's the one thing the big thing that I really want you to be able to use and to talk about when this week is over. So for this week, you're watching this video, which is good. After you're done with this video, I'd encourage you to go and look at the learning guide. Maybe even print it out, put it on your bulletin board above your computer so that you have the list of what's due this week when, what's required. After this video, you look at the learning guide. The first thing you really should do is read the article by Philip Martin called What is a Story? It's not very long. Read through that so that you're familiar with it. Once you're done with that, you're going to get started in the sort of big assignment of the week, which is your critical reading assignment. And I've laid out the steps for that you should go through. Every week, not just this week, I really encourage you to go through the things in the order they're listed. I put them in that order for a reason, in that they build on each other. So if you skip around a little bit, you may have a little more difficulty. Your best bet is to follow through in the order. The exception being your discussion board post. You may jump ahead and do that because you've completed the readings, but not everything else. And you'll see that as you go. So the first thing you'll do for the big assignment is read through the cognitive toolkit sheet. Familiarize yourself with that as we've talked about. Then look at the sample critical reading assignment sheet. I did the assignment myself. I did it based on the first reading, the Philip Martin piece. You'll do yours on the other two readings, but it gives you an idea of what I'm looking for. Basically copy that document. Do the same thing that I did. Actually do it. Don't just write things in, but to follow that as a model. Once you've done that, you should be pretty clear on what it is you're doing, and you'll be able to pull up the two stories as well as your own copy of the critical reading assignment sheet. And what you'll do is as you read, the document has you stop before the story begins and to make use of a couple of the strategies. Make a prediction before the story starts. Ask a question about it. Tap into prior knowledge, meaning, hey, this reminds me of, or I already have information about this author. Maybe it's that you make connections. The stories are called The Luncheon. Maybe you have attended a luncheon. So those might be some of the ones that you do before the story starts. You'll stop a paragraph in or so, depending, shortly after you start reading, and you'll stop and you'll try to make use of a couple more of those strategies. Maybe you'll revise a prediction, maybe you'll make another prediction, maybe you'll ask a question. Then you'll read through the story continuing on. About halfway, you'll stop and you'll do the same thing. You'll use some of those strategies. And then finally at the end, you'll do it again. And you'll do that for both stories. Once you've filled out that document, you'll save it and you'll upload it. And you'll upload it in a separate spot. You'll see there's a spot that says Critical Reading Assignment Upload. You'll upload that and then I'll be able to grade it from there. Once you've done all that, or at some point in the reading process, you'll need to create a discussion board post. Read through the discussion board guidelines so that you're familiar with them. That'll be the same every week. Your initial discussion board post is due on Thursday. That's the 22nd by 11:59, I think 11:55, something like that. And then you'll do a response to one of your classmates by Monday, the 26th in the evening then. And then finally, you'll take a quiz on the readings. And that's to get you an idea of how well did I read? Did I understand? Did I get what was being talked about here? And then once you're done with that, you should be done for the week. Everything is due on May 26th at the end of the day. I think 11:55, 11:59. I'm not sure how it has me set it. And except for the initial discussion board post. If you have any questions or anything seems strange or you can't find anything or access anything, let me know right away. And I will see you again next week.